Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make an iPhone 7 house. If you look at this thing from the distance, you'll just think to yourself that this is just a regular old pixel art, but as you actually look around this thing, you'll notice that it's actually 3D, and it has all of the buttons and apps and all of the gizmos that you would expect from an actual iPhone. It even has on the back the camera and all of the little sensors and all of the lights and even the Apple logo on it. And something that actually makes this a little bit cooler than it just being a 3D statue or a pixel art or something like that is if you come over to the side here, you'll notice that you actually have a decent amount of area inside the iPhone, and this is just the little bottom section of the iPhone. If you wanted to, you can run ladders all the way up through this entire thing, and you can use the entire inside of this for space. And the cool thing about this is this house can kind of go as far back as you like. You can make it as thick as you want, so you can make a bigger or smaller house, completely dependent upon what you actually like. If you do enjoy this video, please give it a like, follow me on Twitter at TSMC360, subscribe if you do like videos like this, and check out the cards and the description below for other related builds exactly like this one. But that's way more than enough talking. Let's get on to how you'd actually make this thing. It's quite easy. So if you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. Grab yourself some block of quartz, some block of iron, some cyan stained clay, some grey wool, some light grey wool, some black wool, some lime wool, some blue wool, and some red wool. Plus, we'll need all of the other materials that you see right here in the inventory. It's mostly coloured wool. Plus, if you want to do the inside, you'll need your own pre-designated materials that you'll actually use to make the interior. That will be not included in this video. So, once you have each one of these materials that you see right here, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, it's actually quite big. It is roughly about 25 to 30 blocks wide, and it is about 60 to 70 blocks high. So do make sure that you actually have enough room. And what you're going to want to do once you've figured out where you want to make it, once you have your stuff, is you want to kick it off with a row of 14 block of quartz in a row on the floor. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then, on top of these last 3 blocks that you placed, stack a row of 3 cyan stained clay. So on top of the last 3 blocks, place 3 cyan stained clay. So 1, 2, 3. Then, continuing the row of quartz, go right by a further 11. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then, do 2 upper right diagonals. That's 1 and 2. And now this is where the not so fun part comes in. We now want to go up and count out a row of 49. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Fresh air. Then, from this 49th block, do an up left diagonal. Go left of that by another long row. We want to do 26. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We then want to do a bottom left diagonal with our quartz. Connect this down to the ground. It's actually not as simple as this, but it's better for us if we just count this down to the ground and then we do this. So we're roughly off the ground, right? What we then want to do is we want to take this very first quartz block that we placed and we want to do from it 2 up left diagonals. We already have one in place for us, so we just want to have the second one, and that is what we want to have. So that is the shape that we're looking for. We want to have 2 up left diagonals, but we already had the 1 block placed because we didn't connect it down to the floor, and we'll end up with a shape that should look a little bit like this. And the more perceptive among you may notice that the bottom is different from the top. That is intentional, but you can change it if you like. You can make the top more round if you like, but I like it a bit more square and I like it curvy at the bottom. Completely up to you. Okay, so this is what we're going to do next. We're actually going to add a bit of detail. Come all the way down to the bottom center of your iPhone. You want to take out your cyan stained clay, and from on top of this row of cyan stained clay, stack 3 rows of 3 block of iron. So that's 1, 2, 3. Go around the block of iron with cyan stained clay. You want to go left, right, and on top. But you don't want them to connect on the corner, so you want to have a squarish looking shape like this. Then, on top of the top row of cyan stained clay, stack a row of block of quartz. So that just wants to be a row of 3 quartz like that. Then, on top of this center quartz block, you want to go up on top of this by 7 with your cyan stained clay. So that'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then go up by 2 with your black, 1, 2. Then extend that left and right by 1 with a material that you don't actually have. We're going to use the white wool for this, and we don't actually have it anywhere. So I'm just going to grab the white wool. I always forget material, but extend that top black wool left and right by 1 with the white. You'll end up with something that should look like that. Okay, this is what we want to do next, because this is ever so slightly trickier. So we want to take out our block of quartz once again, and we want to take this row of block of quartz that we have here that we went up on top of the middle block, and we want to extend this left and right until you hit like the sides of your iPhone. So left and right until you hit the sides of the iPhone like that. You want to take the row of cyan stained clay that we have, and you want to take the bottom and top blocks, and you want to extend them left and right until you hit, you actually don't want to do that. You want to extend them left and right until you almost hit the side. Then place a block of quartz directly next to the edge of your iPhone. Then you want to connect it back to itself. So it'll look a little something like this. I know that I'm not describing this very well, but you basically want to make a big rectangular box with your cyan stained clay like this, and it wants to come to the very edge of the iPhone, except it wants to be 2 blocks thick. 2 blocks thick with quartz on the very edge. This is going to make more sense once I've actually done it. You'll be able to see what I'm actually yammering on about, but you'll be able to see quite easily what we've done here. So that's what we want to do. Can you see how we've done this? We've taken the top and bottom rows of that cyan stained clay, we've extended them left and right, they are 1 block away from the edge, and then we've turned it into a big giant rectangle, and it's as easy as that. The next thing we're going to do, I think, is, you know what, we should probably do the top. We'll do the top and then we'll focus on the screen. So come all the way up to the very top left-hand corner of your iPhone. We're going to take care of all of this stuff, and then we'll take care of apps and stuff. So in the very top left-hand corner of your iPhone, where we have this empty space, we want to go right of this, and we want to do a row of 7 block of quartz. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. See what I'm doing? Then we want to place a light grey wall. Go down from that light grey wall by 1 the blue, 1 the light grey wall. Extend that dark blue left and right with your light grey wall. Going right of this light grey wall, the right light grey wall, you want to do 2 blocks of quartz, followed by a row of 5 dark grey wall. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is, I believe, the front-facing camera and a speaker. I do believe. Okay. We then want to, underneath the bottom light grey wall that we have here, the one that we just placed around the camera, we want to place a block of quartz. We then want to, underneath that, do a cyan stained clay, or, you know what, a dark grey wall might look a little bit better. Take that dark grey wall, extend it left and right until it almost hits the side of the iPhone, and you just want to have it just 1 block off. So you want to have it almost hit the side of the iPhone, but you want to miss by 1 block, and you want to actually place a block of quartz. So if you can see what I'm doing here, you see that the edging of the iPhone is actually 2 blocks thick all the way around. We then want to take the blocks of quartz that we just placed left and right of the dark grey wall, and we want to connect those all the way down to the very bottom of the screen. So we want to connect the top and the bottom part of the screen together with our block of quartz, and then we can actually start talking about apps and detail and stuff on the front of this iPhone, because there is a fair amount of detail. So we want to have something which should look like this. And I know this looks like a mess at the moment, but this is where we're actually going to start adding stuff in here. So to make this next part, we'll start at the bottom. We'll need ourselves some cyan stained clay, we'll need lime wool, we'll need white wool, we'll need dark blue wool, we'll need red, we'll need light grey, we'll need cyan. We'll also need, later on, we'll also need a whole spectrum of colours. So we'll stop here and we'll also grab the black. Okay. Come all the way down to the very bottom of the screen, so where we have this big cyan stained clay rectangle. On the left here, inside the rectangle, you will be able to find, it almost sounded like a skipping record then, you'll be able to find the 3 center blocks on the left here. You want to place 3 line wool next to the 3 center blocks. It's easy to find, it's just right in the center, you'll have a block 3 above and below. You then want to take this top lime green wool and you want to do an upright diagonal from it, right by 2, do a bottom right diagonal, down by 2, then do a bottom left diagonal, left by 2. Take out your white wool, and in the bottom right hand corner of this, you want to do a white wool. Go left of that by 1, up 1, left 1, up 1. Fill the center of this in with green. And there you have your phone icon. I know, it's kind of hard to make out, isn't it? But what can you do? I mean, it's a very small icon. So, right of that, right of the 3 lime green walls here, you want a row of cyan stained clay. Then you want a row of white wool. Then you want to take that top white, do an upright diagonal from it, right by 2, bottom right diagonal, down 2, bottom left diagonal, left 2. Then, starting from the bottom left hand corner here, inside the shape, you want to do a light grey wool, do an upright diagonal with the light grey, do an upright diagonal with the red, fill the rest of the shape in with blue. Easy as that, and that is Safari, that's your internet. On the opposite side here of this row of cyan stained clay, we want to have a row of 3 cyan wool. From the top one, do an upright diagonal, go right of it by 2. The bottom right diagonal, go down of it by 2. The bottom left diagonal, left by 2. Then take the bottom center cyan wool, place a row of 3 white wool on top of it. That's 1, 2, 3. Take the upper 2, extend them left and right by 1. Fill in the rest with your cyan wool. So we'll have something which should look like that. That is the mail, like email app, but I know it doesn't look that much like it, it's very hard to make in such a limited space. Okay, right of that app, we want to have a row of cyan stained clay, then a row of red. You want to take that top red and you want to do an upright diagonal, right by 2, bottom right diagonal, down by 2, bottom left diagonal, left by 2, you guys get it by now. We then want to, with our white wool, kind of just do like an N shape or an upside down U inside this and then fill the rest of it in with red. If you guys have a better idea for the music app, that's what this is, then do it. But I found it very difficult to make this one and make it look like a musical note. That's as close as I could get. You could also potentially just kind of like scrap this, you know, like the traditional like iPhone music app. And you could make something that looked a bit more like an actual music note. So you could make something that looked a little bit like that maybe. So that looks a little bit more like a musical note. But as I keep saying, like it's very, very difficult to actually make something that looks like a music note or anything when you scale it down so much. But those are the individual apps in the tray at the bottom of your iPhone. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is all of the individual apps up at the top of the phone. So your messaging, your calendar, your photos, your camera, and all of the other fun social media apps that you may have. So we want to come all the way up to the top here. And we want to start off by placing a row of black wool directly underneath this row of dark grey wool at the top, like that. We're going to need some new materials later on, but I guess we'll just deal with what we have now. So, the first app that we have here, we want to start right below this top left-hand corner black wool. We want to go down by 1 the black, right by 1 the black. We want to go right by 3 the lime green wool, to a bottom right diagonal, down by 2, left by bottom left diagonal, left by 2, up left diagonal, up by 2. We then want to do 2 rows of 3 white wool underneath the top row of lime to a single white wool underneath the very left bottom hand white wool. Fill in the rest of the app with lime. There you have the messenger. If you haven't gathered by now, each one of these apps is the same shape. We always start with the outside border, then we go on and we make the rest of it. So, right of these 3 lime green wool on the right, we want to do a row of black. Then a row of white. Take the top white, do an upright diagonal, right by 2, bottom right diagonal, down by 2. You guys know what we're doing, bottom left diagonal, left by 2. Then, starting from the bottom right hand corner, we want to do a row of 3 black, right on the right. Take that top one, extend it left by 2. Fill in the rest of this app with white wool. Now that's the calendar app. That is the number 7. I almost said letter 7 like some... I don't know. I don't know my numbers and my letters. I have to go back to preschool. But that is the calendar app. I picked 7 simply because, number one, it's one of my favorite numbers, don't ask me why, but it's also very easy to recognize. Going right of this row of free white wool, we want to do a row of black, followed by a row of white. You guys know what we do next. We do an upright diagonal with the white, right by 2, bottom right diagonal, down by 2, bottom left diagonal, left by 2. Okay, so this app's slightly tricky because it uses a lot of colors. Place a light grey wool right in the center of this app. Now what we're going to do, and this is in order, grab these colors. So we'll need orange, we'll need yellow, we'll need cyan, we'll need lime green, dark green, we'll need blue, we'll need purple, and then red. Yeah. So starting from the top, upper left hand corner block here, going right clockwise, we want to do this series of colors. We want to do orange, yellow, cyan, green, dark green, blue, purple, red. There we go. That's the reason that we grabbed them in order. That is the Pictures app. So all the photos that you've taken, right there. Next one, we're going to grab our black wool back again, and we actually need some of the colors we discarded. We need a dark grey wool for here, and we also need some light grey and some cyan. Do a row of black going right of that row of white, then do a row of light grey going right of the black. Take the light grey wool at the top, do an upright diagonal from it, right by 2, do a bottom right diagonal, down by 2, bottom left diagonal, left by 2. Standard stuff. Then, right at the bottom of the app, do a row of 3 with your black wool. Then for the next row, going from left to right, it's 1 black, then 1 cyan, 1 black. On top of the cyan, we want to do a dark grey wool. Left and right of that, we want to do a light grey wool. Yeah, light grey wool, there we go. And then we have the camera out, so that's how you would actually take the photos. What we then want to do is we want to place a row of black wool underneath each one of the bottom rows of 3 of these apps, like this. Then we want to, starting from the left underneath the messaging app, we want to grab our white wool, and underneath this row of 3 black wool, we want to have a row of red wool. We then want to take this right hand red, do a bottom right diagonal from it, go down by 2, do a bottom left diagonal, go left by 2, do an up left diagonal, go up by 2. You guys know how to make these. This is going to be a YouTube app, so we want to have 2 rows of 3 vertical white on the inside of this. We then want to take the center right hand block and extend it to the right by 1. Then place red wool everywhere else, and this is kind of just like the YouTube play button. I know, it doesn't look that much like it, but give me a break. Then, underneath the calendar app, we're going to want to have Twitter. So I'm going to take out my cyan wool here, and I want to do a row of cyan underneath the black. Then I'm going to take this right-hand side, do a bottom right diagonal from it. Down by 2. Bottom left diagonal, if I can make one. Left by 2. Up left diagonal, up by 2. Twitter's a little tricky. So starting from the bottom right-hand corner, we're going to place a white. Go left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, place a white wool in the upper right hand corner of the shape. Fill the rest of it in with cyan. Now that is obviously, well, not obviously, that is supposed to be the Twitter bird. I know, give me a break. For the next app, Snapchat, we're going to need yellow. Underneath this row of 3 black wool, underneath the photo app, we want to have a row of 3 yellow. Then we want to take the right hand side, bottom right diagonal, down by 2, bottom left diagonal, left by 2, etc, until you form the outside of Snapchat. We then want to do 2 rows of white right at the bottom here. Then we want to take the top center block, do a white wool coming up from it, yellow wool left and right of that, and there you have Snapchat. Or, again, it's difficult. Underneath the camera app, we want to do a row of, underneath this is different actually. Underneath this left-hand black wool, dark blue. Right of that, 2 white. Do a bottom right diagonal with your blue, go down by 2, do a bottom left diagonal with your dark blue, left by 2, do an up left diagonal with your dark blue, up by 2. We then want to, on the left-hand side here, have a row of white wool, and then we want to take this center white, we'll go right of it by 2, fill the center of this in with dark blue. So we want to have something which should look a little bit like that. And there we go, guys. That is the majority of the phone, or at least the majority of the front of the phone. The rest of the phone is actually quite a bit easier. So what we would do from here is we would fill the screen in with black. We would fill the app tray at the bottom in with cyan. We'd fill the rest of the phone in with quartz. We're not going to do that just yet, but that is in the very near future. let's actually talk about what we're going to be doing next. So what we're going to be doing next is going to include our old pal, the dark grey wool. So behind the phone, we want to kind of do this. This is tricky. Behind the phone and outside of the phone, we want to do a row of dark grey wool that is one row outward in relation and one row behind the actual quartz, the white of the phone. So we're essentially making the phone a little bit bigger because of course the iPhone is 3D, isn't it? The iPhone is actually a kind of a curvy shape. It's nice and smooth. It's a nice smooth curve. That's what we're doing here. So we want to take this and we want to extend it backwards with a layer of dark grey wool. And once we've done that, we should be able to make the back of it. So just from the front perspective, you'll be able to see that we have just extended the phone back by one row, and you can see it kind of gives the phone a better shape. It gives it a bit of an outline, and it makes it look a little bit more curvier. I like it. We then, or at least the goal would be, to add 3 more layers of dark grey to this. So that's 1, 2, 3. And you know what? We're actually going to do this on recording. I wasn't planning on doing this on recording, but we are going to do it on recording because it's kind of essential. So you want to take that row of dark grey wool, you want to extend it backwards by 3 additional layers. This is going to give the phone a little bit of a better shape. Alternatives to dark grey wool, if you don't like it, but I do, is cyan wool, light grey wool, any other material in between, completely up to you. Some sort of grey would be nice, but it kind of depends on what colour you're going for with the phone. As some of you may have worked out, you don't have to have a white phone if you don't want it. Black phone will look cool, yellow, green, blue, pink, purple, any colour that you want. Gold would be kind of cool. Diamond phone, also cool. They actually do gold iPhones if you guys haven't seen them. They are incredibly expensive. I think they're somewhere between like 10 and 20 grand, maybe even more expensive than that. It's crazy. I think it's like 9 karat gold or something, and you can get a really expensive but cool looking iPhone for the low price of 20 grand. That is absolutely insane for a phone, but hey, I guess if you have the money, you can buy whatever you like. But there we go, that is the back side of the phone. We then want to take out our old pal, the block of quartz again, and we want to, inside of and behind the shape of the dark grey wool, we want to then form once again the outside part of the iPhone. So if that doesn't make any sense, we're basically taking that shape of block of quartz that we have on the front of the iPhone that we can actually see because we can see through the iPhone because we haven't filled it in yet. We want to take that shape and we want to transfer it onto the back, and it wants to be 3D. That's the whole point of this, so that we can actually have an inside to the iPhone. We have to make it 3D so that we have a pretty awesome house. And as I have pointed out at the start of the video, you can actually make this as wide as you want. You can make this double wide if you like, or triple wide, or as far as you want to go. As far as you like to go back, that is up to you. Okay, so the next order of business, once you've actually formed this shape, so you can see that we actually have like the back of the iPhone here, we're now going to do the actual, like the back of the iPhone. So to make this, we're going to need the block of quartz again for a little while. We'll need block of iron. We're also going to need some cyan stained clay. We'll need some blue wool, dark blue. We'll need black wool. We'll also need ourselves some light grey. I don't think we'll need anything else. Starting from the upper left hand corner here, at the top back left hand corner of the phone, we want to place a block of quartz. From that block of quartz, we want to go right by, we need another material. We need our dark grey wool. You want to go right of that block by 8 with your dark grey. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You then want to do a bottom right diagonal, go down by 2, do a bottom left diagonal, go left by 7, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, do an up left diagonal, then go up by 2. So you have a nice rectangular shape. You then want to take the inside of the left hand side of this, you want to take the middle block and you want to go right by 1 with your cyan stained clay, 1 with your dark blue, 1 cyan stained clay, 2 black wool, 1 cyan stained clay, 1 dark blue, 1 cyan. Go up and below the dark blue walls with a cyan stained clay and fill the rest of this thing in with black wool. And this is going to be the camera of your iPhone. This can be 2D as it is now, or you can extend it outwards and make it 3D. I have found that I prefer it to be 2D, but you may be different. And like I said, all you have to do to accomplish that goal is like extend it all out by 1. You would have saw it at the beginning of the video. Take the right hand side middle center block here, this dark grey one, and you want to go right of this by 1 with your block of quartz. Then 1 with the cyan stained clay, 1 quartz. Go right by 3 with the block of iron. Take that center block of iron up and down by 1. Go down from that center block by 7 with the block of quartz. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We then want to do a light grey wall. Do a bottom left diagonal from that. And then do another one because we should have done 2. Go left by 1. Do 2 bottom left diagonals. 2. Then go down by 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do 2 bottom right diagonals. That's 1 and that's 2. Go right by 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do 2 upright diagonals. That is 1 and 2. Then go up by 1. Left 1. Do 2 up left diagonals. That's 1 and 2. Then do 2 upright diagonals. That is 1 and 2. Then do an upper left diagonal and go left by 1. What is this, guys? Do you know? Of course you do. That is the Apple logo. That is the apple with a little chunk missing. Now, if the apple belonged to me, there would be no chunks missing because I'm not a fan of them. No fan of fruit. But maybe you guys have a different opinion. Maybe you like a nice crunchy apple. I'm only touching one if it has toffee on the outside of it. And that is the back of the iPhone for the majority. Like, all we have to do now to the back of the iPhone is we would have to fill this in with block of quartz, which is quite an easy task. But we're not doing that yet. What we're going to do first is we are going to move onto the side of the iPhone, specifically the left-hand side, which is this one. And to continue on, drop some quartz out for one's homies. And if we're going to continue on, we're going to need some orange wool. Come all the way up to the top left-hand side of the left-hand side of your iPhone. You want to be in line with this row here. So before it goes diagonal, you want to be in line with this row here. You want to take these 2 center blocks, and you want to, you know what, this left-hand center block towards the back, and you want to count down, a row of 5. So you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and on top of this 5th block, you want to place an orange wool. Go down from that by 1. Then do a row of light grey next to that orange. Then going down from that orange and light grey wool again, you want to leave a row of 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you want to have a row of 5 light grey coming down from the dark blue. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Same on the other middle row. Leave a gap of 1 between this row of 5 and do another row of 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you can then do is destroy any blocks that you may have placed to kind of like just shove in the way of other blocks, just to make sure we were counting properly. This is more for your benefit than mine, but there you can see that we have all of the buttons on the side of the iPhone. And if you don't want those to be 3D, by the way, you don't have to. You can sync them into the side of the iPhone so they're not 3D. It's up to you. But there you go. That's what you want to have. There we have, I think that's the airplane button. I've not had an iPhone for a little while, and I believe that's the volume. But there we go. That's the left-hand side. The right-hand side is a little bit simpler. On the right-hand side, we pretty much have just like the kind of like awake and like shut down button. I don't know how to describe it. Kind of like standby button, whatever you want to call it. And on the right-hand side here, we want to come to the top 2 center blocks on the right-hand side, same way that we did on the opposite side, and we want to this time leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want to leave a gap of 6, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we want to have a row of 3 light grey wool. That's 1, 2, 3 coming down, and we want to have the same thing from the other center block as well, like this. We can destroy the dark blue wool, and that is what you want to have on the right-hand side of your iPhone, and that is just like, you know how you can turn the screen on and off? Yeah, that's that. That's basically just that. But there you go, guys. That is your iPhone. And whilst it doesn't look done now, it kind of is, because that's the majority of it done. Let me explain. The front of the iPhone, screen is filled in with black. The bottom app tray filled in with cyan. Everywhere else quartz. on the back of the iPhone, you fill the entire thing in with quartz. Then all you have to do is actually do the inside if you so want it. If you're not, you can just have a big giant iPhone 7 statue. And that is everything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this in and I'll show you what it looks like, because of course actions speak louder than words. I'll be back in a second. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the finished iPhone 7. All I've done is I've filled the screen in with black, I've filled the app tray in at the bottom with cyan stained clay, the rest of it with block of quartz, and if we come to the back here, we have a quick look at the back. We have filled the back in completely with block of quartz, and do remember there is an option to extend that camera out of the back by 1. Like if you want to make it nice and 3D, you can, but I actually really like it 2D. I prefer that quite a bit more, but it's completely up to you, as you guys know. And if you want to turn this into a house, if you want to ascend it from a giant statue and turn it into a house, all you have to do is keep the hollow interior, and I would suggest kind of having something like this, kind of like making the walls smooth on either end and putting in some ceilings, and you can turn this bottom bit into a house if you want, or you could make the entire thing, and you can see that it gets quite tall. We can't even see up there. You can make the entire thing into a big giant house if you wanted to. And I haven't furnished this. I'll leave it to you guys. If you guys want to figure it out, then you can. But just letting you know, I mean, this can be turned into a pretty big house, and I think that you guys would really like that. But there we go. That is the iPhone 7. It's a bit of a dumbed down version. It's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit less detailed, but regardless, it does look great, or at least it does in my opinion. And hopefully you guys think the same. If you do, please give this video a like. I'd really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter at TSMC 360. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below what other houses would you like to see in the future, or builds. It doesn't even have to be a house if you guys don't want. Let me know what sort of builds you'd like to see in the future. Feel free to check out the cards in the description below. I have an Apple builds playlist if you want to build more Apple products, kind of like this by me. I've not made a house before out of an Apple product, but I've definitely made loads of pixel arts and stuff like that. I think that you guys might really enjoy. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.